I'm not here to tell you to get on meds. This is obviously not a prescription or an endorsement, but I started out anti-meds because I was convinced that it was too expensive, or I would get addicted, or people would think that I was a drug user. The truth is, these are all insecurities that I had to deal with that were excuses not to get the help that I needed and not to put any extra effort in, any changes to my day. That was really the discomfort that was holding me back, was a kind of an insecurity and a comfort with my familiar routine. Getting to some of those criticisms, the first one, that meds are too expensive. The reality is everything's expensive and takes time and has side effects. And that's true not only of your range of different medications that could be prescribed to you for your condition, but also in the range of treatments you have available to you more generally. So decide what's going to be worth it for you. And medication can have the biggest effect the most quickly out of pretty much all your physiological treatments. Remember that different meds are good for different symptoms in different people. So it's important to, even after you find a medication, continue to explore what might work with your medical professional who's helping you with this, because there's a lot of options out there, and you will probably not get it exactly right the first time. So it's important to have a doctor who's willing to work through that with you, as almost all of them are in my experience. The next thing that really helped me swallow the pill, pun intended, of getting on medication was understanding that medication is not necessarily a forever thing. It's not like now I'm medicated and therefore I must buy these pills every month for the rest of my life and take them every morning and evening. It's more like I'm taking these in order to give myself the leverage against the challenges that I'm dealing with. And when I become strong enough to overcome those challenges without medication, then that option is it's there for me. Because the pills aren't going to be the solution. Pills don't teach skills. So they by themselves are just another form of collecting a tool and getting a false sense of accomplishment. You need to use the changes that happen in your brain to start to change your behavior in a conscious way. And that's what medication kind of gives you a greater opportunity to do. So if you have any questions about medication, obviously I'm not going to talk about medications in specific. Most of the common ones that I'm familiar with are stimulants. And just remember that you are not a drug addict for taking this medication, which people say, oh, it's chemically exactly the same, identical to this street drug or that street drug. That's a completely different environment with completely different circumstances, and you are an atypical person who deals with these chemicals in your brain differently than the neurotypical population. So don't allow any of that shame to creep into your thought process. This is medicine, and no matter what it is you land on that's going to help treat your condition, that's what's right for you, and that's a good thing. But it's not the only way to change your brain chemistry, obviously. Similar to medication, but something that we can do in the comfort of our own home without a medical professional, is self-medication, also known as fun. This is the natural way to alter your brain chemistry, and you could get this in any number of ways. It's unique to pretty much everybody. But just remember that no matter what you choose to do that's going to give you a release of those feel-good chemicals on a consistent basis, we atypicals are more prone to addiction. So whatever it's going to be, make sure that you keep it in moderation. Don't put yourself or others in danger, and don't overdo it with any kind of self-medication. And as we talked about in the scheduling, the calendar portion of Essential Tools in week 2, this is something that you're going to want to make routine and put fun on the calendar, or self-medication on the calendar, however you want to think about it. This is taking your mental health day and giving yourself a rush so that you can get focused on other things and just feel good and stay sane. So make sure that goes on the calendar first, so that, again, as you do the tedious task of scheduling things, keep your focus on the things that make you excited and give you a rush.